Welcome to the Oakland County Megacast. I'm Tyler Kieft, welcoming you to our live, local, 5 days a week TV, radio, and streaming show that looks into everything Oakland County. Today, we'll be talking to local political leaders, university officials, and more about topics interesting and important to people like you right here in Oakland County. Let's get into today's headlines on our website at civiccentertv.com. On our local news page, our top story is from Jennifer Chambers at the Detroit News. As plans for a clinic inside Oxford High School has upset the community. Members of the community voiced their outrage at the Oxford Community School District over a proposal to open a medical and mental health clinic inside the high school in the same location as last November's school massacre and allow the general public in for its services. This is true. This is a true story. Yes. In July, the Board of Education proposed locating the Honor Health Clinic inside classroom 249, a room that served as a teacher's lounge and connects to the hallway where the accused student gunman allegedly shot to death 4 students and injured 7 other individuals. At Tuesday's board meeting, Superintendent Ken Weaver announced the location would be changed to another spot inside Oxford High School, and services from Honor Community Health would be limited to just Oxford students, their staff, and their families. Parents such as Lori Borjo packed the school board meeting on Tuesday night to speak their mind about the Honor Health Clinic project, saying, quote, "I can't understand how this board can even consider it after November 30th. Referring to the date of Michigan's deadliest school shooting. Continuing on, Bourgeot said, quote, "Mentally ill people will love the chance to have the quote-unquote second mass shooting in the same school. Kids will stress about people walking up to the building during classes. The schools couldn't keep the kids safe from a student. Now they have no way to know if the general public is a threat, but they let them in," end closed quote. The board tabled a motion to approve the clinic, which, if approved, would provide medical services, dental, surveillance, vision referrals, and mental health services and referrals to students, staff, and families. Honor Community Health would not charge the district for services that would be funded through a grant program, according to school officials. Students 14 and older can self-refer for mental health services. Medical services would need to be approved by a parent for children under the age of 18, however. Quote, "The school district does not have school nurses to provide many of these services to students. Honor can provide staff training for some medical needs like diabetes and epilepsy," said Todd Berlis, Executive Director of Student Service and Wellness. Weaver said the location change for the clinic was made after bids for the project came back too expensive. The district informed Honor Community Health officials of the development, saying, quote, "They want to help and are looking to partner with us and use another section of the building," according to Weaver, who continued on by saying, quote, "They bring a lot of services that can benefit both the recovery and hopefully preventing any instances in the future," end closed quote. Board member Heather Schaefer said she did not support the original location of the clinic, but supports the clinic and the work it can do. Quote, "It's part of us getting on the other side of this, providing another layer of mental health to our students and our staff and community," end closed quote. Corey Baylor, the board treasurer, said he was nervous about bringing more people into the school through the clinic and the impact on local therapists and clinics in Oxford. Quote, "Security is a concern, and we've got small family operations in Oxford that already do this," end close quote, said Bailey. The board tabled the approval of the clinic until it can bring a representative from Honor to address these concerns. Oxford High School graduate Jace McCarthy told the board that the clinic was a terrible idea after the shooting because it would allow members of the public to come into the high school, and once the district expands the program, something it has said that it wants to do. Quote, "We are letting the community use it at some point. They will be able to just come into the school. I don't think students feel safe," end close quote, said McCarthy, a 2022 graduate. McCarthy continued on by saying, quote, "Students don't want to come back here. Other schools have shut off parts of the building, and we are not doing that," end closed quote. Killed in the shooting were Hannah St. Juliana, 14 years old, Madison Baldwin, a 17-year-old, Justin Schilling, also a 17-year-old, and Tate Neer, who was 16. The school had about 1,650 students in classes on the day of the shooting, along with 100 teachers and staff. The first day of school for the 2022-2023 school year is August 25th. Also making headlines on our website, civiccentertv.com, on our local news page, from Clara Hendrickson at the Detroit Free Press, the Let My Kids Learn organization submits signatures to put their controversial ballot proposal before lawmakers. Organizers behind a controversial education proposal to establish a tax credit in Michigan to fund scholarships to cover educational expenses, including private school tuition, said they turned in more than 500,000 signatures on Wednesday to put the measure before state lawmakers. The Let My Kids Learn proposal, backed by the DeVos family, blew past the filing deadline in June to bring the initiative before the state legislatures this year. Thus, the State Board of Elections is not legally required to vet the signatures submitted and recommend certification to the state's elections panel until after the midterm election. But organizers hope the initiative bypasses the ballot altogether and instead is adopted by lawmakers this year or next if Republicans retain their majorities in both the House and the Senate in the upcoming November midterm elections. Quote, exciting change is coming for Michigan students and their families with this petition initiative, said Let My Kids Learn communications coordinator Amy Hawkins at a news conference on Wednesday. Quote, change is coming to offer more educational changes. That's right. Change is coming to offer changes. The Let My Kids Learn plan includes two initiatives. One would create a scholarship called the Student Opportunity Scholarship to provide grants to families of K through 12 students to cover educational expenses such as online classes, tutoring, or tuition. The second would create a new tax credit for those who contribute to the program. That proposal would cap tax credits for donors and businesses that contribute to the scholarship fund at $500 million annually. Opponents contend the proposal amounts to a voucher system to divert taxpayer dollars from public schools instead over to private ones. Quote, Betsy DeVos's dangerous school voucher plan will guarantee less funding for local public schools across the state, said Cassandra Ulbrich, a spokesperson for a coalition opposing the measure, in a statement on Wednesday. Ulbrich also serves as the president of the state's Board of Education. She said the organizers of the Let My Kids Learn proposal, quote, are trying to use a loophole that allows them to ram it through the Michigan legislature without being subjected to a gubernatorial veto, end closed quote. Governor Gretchen Whitmer already vetoed GOP-backed bills last November that very much mirrored this proposal. But in Michigan, organizers of the voter-initiated legislation can circumvent the governor's veto by collecting at least 8% of the total votes cast for gubernatorial candidates in the most recent election. Michigan stands out nationally in allowing lawmakers to enact legislation not subject to a gubernatorial veto or approval in a statewide election. If passed, the Let My Kids Learn proposal could face legal challenges since Michigan's constitution contains a broad prohibition on public funding for private education. It states that, quote, no public monies or property, end closed quote, can, quote, aid or maintain, end closed quote, private schools, including direct and indirect funding through tax benefits, among other forms of financial support. Former Education Secretary at the U.S. level, Betsy DeVos, and members of her family have contributed more than $4 million to the Let My Kids Learn campaign. DeVos joined former Vice President Mike Pence to tout the proposal at a private Christian school in Rochester Hills earlier this year in May. The pair told an assembly of several hundred students at Lutheran High School Northwest that the Let My Kids Learn initiative petitions would allow more Michigan students to attend schools like theirs. Finally, making headlines today on our website at civiccentertv.com on our local news page from Garrett Ellison at MLive. A Tri-Bar employee overrode alarms 460 times prior to the Huron River spill recently. An employee at the Tri-Bar Technologies plant in Wixom overrode the company's waste treatment alarms 460 times in a span of nearly 3 hours on the night which state regulators believe a toxic chemical release to the Huron River initially began last weekend. The extraordinary detail is among new information about the circumstances surrounding a hexavalent chromium release to the Wixom wastewater system contained in violation notices issued by the Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy, or as some call it, EGLE. And on August 9th, quote-unquote, egregious violation letter sent to Tri-Bar, an auto supplier which manufactures chrome-finished parts using toxic chemicals. State regulators demanded more information about what transpired at the company's Wixom Plant Number 5 on Alpha Drive on Friday, July 29th of this year. According to the EGLE notice, that's when a 14,923-gallon rinse waste tank holding about 10,000 gallons of, quote, acid etched material, and closed quote, with about 5% total chromium, was emptied into the Wixom wastewater system as a contamination slug, which overwhelmed the sewage plant. Wixom's plant discharges to the Huron River via the Norton Creek drain upstream of Milford. Between 4:59 and 7:46 p.m. on the 29th of July, the tank operator overrode the waste treatment alarms 460 times, or about once every 20 seconds, according to the notice. Another quote-unquote high-level alarm was recorded at 11 p.m. How and why that occurred is unclear. Eagle says the company has not been fully forthcoming with its investigation, which involves the state's Criminal Environmental Investigation Arm as well. Tribar did not report the release until Monday, August 1st, when employee Ryan O'Keefe made an 8 a.m. State Pollution Emergency System, or PEAS, report to attributing the release to quote-unquote operator error. Quote, why was a wastewater operator in the facility unsupervised during the weekend, and closed quote, asked Teresa Seidel, director of Eagle's Water Resources Division, in a letter. Seidel continued on by saying, quote, to whom did the operator who overrode the alarms report to during this time, and closed quote. At the moment, the answers are yet to come. Quote, we have asked them repeatedly for critical information about their systems and a timeline for what happened. They have provided some information, but have not provided the level of information that we need for the investigation, said Eagle spokesperson Hugh McDermott. Quote, the whole weekend timeline is not clear to us, and they have not been helpful in putting it together, McDermott said. Last week, Tribar said it, quote, took immediate action, including making certain that the release was stopped and contacting the wastewater treatment plant, and closed quote, last week, Monday. In a statement to MLive on Wednesday, Tribar said it was reviewing the violation notices with environmental consultants at Barr and August Mack and would share internal investigation findings this week. The tank operator is no longer employed by Tribar, according to the company in the statement. Quote, Tribar has invested millions of dollars in sophisticated environmental controls to prevent an accidental release of wastewater prior to treatment at our facility. Based on an initial investigation, those automated controls were at full functioning properly at the time that the plating solution was released to the wastewater treatment plant, and closed quote, the company said. The statement continues on by saying, quote, however, the controls were repeatedly overridden by the operator on duty while the facility was shut down for the weekend. That individual is no longer employed by our company, and we are in the process of further improving our internal controls to prevent a future occurrence, and closed quote. Tribar released additional information on Wednesday evening of this week, saying the employee who overrode the alarms, quote, resigned before his shift started on Monday, and closed quote. The company declined to address the employee's intent, saying that, quote, we have cooperated fully with the inquiries from both Wixom Police and the FBI, and closed quote. Last week, Eagle confirmed that it had given a brief on the matter to the Federal Bureau of Investigation, or FBI. The city of Wixom also said it turned over its criminal investigation to state investigators. Eagle announced the violation notices on Wednesday of this week, August 10th, more than a week after the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, or MDHHS, issued an August 2nd no contact advisory for the Huron River downstream of Wixom. The violations are part of a quote-unquote accelerated enforcement process by Tribar, which Eagle says will involve administrative consent negotiations and attempts at recovery cost incurred by the state in response to the spill, which has sparked a week of widespread testing on the Huron River. The company failed to immediately notify Eagle about the discharge, interfered with the city's wastewater treatment, and failed to maintain a pollution prevention plan, according to Eagle. The citations followed unrelated violation notices from the agency's Air Quality Division following a July inspection, which found that the company was not keeping adequate records and was not properly operating equipment which controls nickel and chromium emissions. Tribar has until the 20th of this month to respond to water violations and until August 30th to respond to the air quality violations, according to Eagle. Tribar operates 4 plants in Wixom and 2 in Howell. The company was previously named Adept Plastic Finishing before it was acquired by HCI Equity Partners in 2016. All those headlines making news today on our website, civiccentertv.com, on our local news page, as well as those ever-helpful links to accurate and up-to-date information on COVID-19 from the CDC, the MDHHS, and locally from the Oakland County Health Division at the top of the page. We have a great program ahead on this Thursday edition of the Oakland County Megacast. Up next, I'll be joined by State Representative Brenda Carter, a Democrat in the 29th District, followed by Oakland University Academic Advisor Lindsay Zeig at the bottom of the hour. This is the Oakland County Megacast.
Let's whoop it up for these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the cheering going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important. And now the same is true as we face the flu. Influenza has the potential to infect millions, putting lives and the healthcare system at risk. Fortunately, it's easy to protect yourself. The flu vaccine is safe and effective, and with COVID-19 still spreading, it's essential. To see how you can hit this virus head-on, visit michigan.gov/flu. Now that the vaccine is available for children 5 and up, why do you recommend it?
Kids are part of the community and they can spread COVID.
We're seeing both healthy children getting sick from the virus as well as children with underlying health conditions.
They can easily bring the virus home to other people that are vulnerable and make them sick as well.
This vaccine can change that and keep children safe.
It's essential that your children get vaccinated to protect them, to protect your families, and to protect those in the community around you.
Let's relish these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the festivals going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer. Because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine to keep safe and strong. Be like happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine.
Welcome back to the Oakland County Megacast, our live daily 1-hour show about all things Oakland County. I'm Tyler Kieft. Learn more about the program by visiting our website at civiccentertv.com/megacast, where you'll find information on our entire network of stations, including My Michigan TV. Joining us now on the Oakland County Megacast is our state representative for the 29th District of Michigan, Democrat Brenda Carter, joins us now on the Megacast. Representative Carter, appreciate you coming on with us.
Oh, Tyler, thank you so very much for having me.
Appreciate having you on. So among many of the issues affecting Michigan are issues, especially at the federal level, particularly the decision in recent months by the U.S. Supreme Court and the decision on Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization that ultimately overturned Roe versus Wade. You joined other Democratic lawmakers at the state capitol in June to protest the effects of Roe versus Wade being overturned in the Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization ruling by the U.S. Supreme Court. Can you speak to how that's impacting Michigan politics also? Because here in Michigan, the law from the 1930s that also would outlaw abortion here in the state of Michigan is still being held. It's not in effect at this moment in time, but that's definitely going to have a continued impact on legislation at the state level going forward.
Well, Tyler, thanks for asking that question, and you're absolutely correct. I'm a very strong advocate against the decision that was made in Washington. As it stands right now, abortion is still legal in the state of Michigan, thanks to the court blocking the enforcement of that 1931 draconian ban. We know the forces that are opposing a woman's right to choose won't stop at abortion. They're coming for contraceptions. They're coming for marriage equality. I would encourage all citizens out there to contact their legislators, not only in Lansing, but in Washington, D.C., and tell them where they stand on reproductive freedoms.
In terms of Michigan's Democratic caucus, it's still in the minority at the state level. As you're going forward in your party and working across the aisle, too, to try to find solutions to many of these issues with your Republican counterparts, where do those discussions currently lie in terms of maybe changing Michigan's code in terms of abortion and putting new laws into place that would then circumvent the 1930s law should it come back into effect?
Well, currently, right now, to my knowledge, there is no collaboration between the two. It's still very much a partisan issue, but that is not stopping advocates out there from trying to get our colleagues to understand that it's more than just taking away a woman's right to her own body. It's about making sure that women are kept safe. What this law has done, overturning Roe v. Wade, has done is made it very difficult for women who are impoverished to seek proper medical care. You know, even in case of rape or incest, they're not able to get the care they need because of this ban. So this overturning the law. So where we're standing right now, I think there's some empathy on the other side of the aisle. There may be some, but it's largely a partisan issue.
We're joined by Representative Brenda Carter, a state representative from Michigan's 29th district, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. Representative Carter, after a year of work, the Michigan Task Force on Juvenile Justice Reform has met in Lansing and approved a final list of policy recommendations to reform the juvenile justice system in the state of Michigan. Can you give us some insight into the work of the task force and what some of those recommendations are to reform the way that juveniles in the state of Michigan that end up in the criminal justice system one way or the other end up going through that system?
Absolutely. And once again, that's a great question because it was an honor to work under the leadership of Lieutenant Governor Garland Gilchrist and legislators, prosecutors, judges, community advocates, families. It was a collaborative effort to take a holistic approach to our current juvenile justice system. I was driven to join this task force simply because of some incidents that's happened right here in Oakland County that came across my desk. The most infamous one is the 15-year-old who was sent to juvenile court because she didn't do her homework, Children's Villages to court. So what we did over this year's period of time is that all of us came together and we looked at issues that needed to be addressed, not only addressed, but reformed. Some of those were making sure that there was increased reimbursement rates for local courts and community-based services. A lot of our services that are in the community still need equitable funding, and it depends on where the location is. But it's all across the state we have these issues with our juveniles. Also another thing we looked at was creating the juvenile indigent defense system, making sure that our most needy had a voice. Data collection we found that it was in silos. We had different parts of the state doing different ways of collecting their data. So what we're looking for is uniformity across the state. Some of the fees that the families were being charged were a little egregious. And what it did was it kept families away from getting the services that they need. So another thing that we looked at was eliminating the fees for families to make it easier for them to participate in the whole entire process. I thought one of the significant things was involving the families, because all too often families don't have a voice. Once their young person is matriculated into the juvenile justice system, it's almost like a school to prison pipeline. So one of the things we thought we would do is create a statewide parent advisory council so they can come in and voice some of the things that they're going through and bring it to the judges and prosecutors and even the lawmakers so we can come up with a resolve that most best fit that youth. And finally, we looked at, and it's a whole bunch of other ones, but I'm just giving the ones that I thought were really, really significant. This is the one that I focused on the most, which was eliminating the racial disparities. We found that a disproportionate amount of Black youth were in the juvenile justice system for things that may be perceived as egregious behavior, but was actually just the animated behavior of the youth. So we took a look and we actually did the demographics to see where the large pockets of youth were coming from. And we found, yes, they were coming from largely Black communities. So we took a deep dive into that as well and looked at ways that we could divert the youth from going into the system in the first place by providing the necessary resources they need to just deal with some of the situations that they're dealing with. If you look at some of the youth that are in majority, minority, or impoverished, because it's not just Black youth, we have it all over the state, but the common thread seems to be poverty. If you look at those, it's because these youth have a lack of resources in their communities. So we're trying to mitigate some of those as well.
We're joined by Representative Brenda Carter from Michigan's 29th State Congressional District, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. Representative Carter, somewhat connected to the issue of juvenile delinquency is also the gun violence issue. Of course, that affects kids in so many different ways, and it's affected kids right in your local area of Oakland County just in the past year, of course, with the tragic shooting at Oxford High School. In terms of addressing gun violence, it's another one of those issues that easily turns into a pervasive us against them sort of mentality, with the Democrats wanting to have more gun control effects put in place and the Republicans on the other side wanting to protect gun owners' rights to bear arms. What discussions have been had at the state level, particularly in a bipartisan manner, to address gun violence in the state of Michigan and put more prevention tactics in place that allow our local lawmakers and allow our local law enforcement also to help prevent gun violence in our communities?
Tyler, thank you for this question. This is right in my wheelhouse right here because of the numbers of shootings that's happened, not only in Oxford, but you may be aware of the 7-year-old in Pontiac, my home city, who was just returning from school and unfortunately was gunned down. I think it took something like Uvalde, Texas, to wake everybody up. I know in Lansing, there are some empathetic colleagues on the other side of the aisle that they want to put an end to this gun violence. And I do believe that we're beginning to see a breakdown of those barriers as we continue to impress upon them this is not about taking away their guns. There are a lot of people out there that are responsible, safe gun owners that have a right to have their guns. But this is about taking the guns out of the hands of people who take them and shoot 19 kids and two adults. Or you can't go to a 4th of July parade without somebody feeling they have the right just to take your life. This is why we're trying to do it. And it was I took a deep breath when I saw what happened in Washington, when bipartisan support put legislation in place to curb some of the gun violence that's happening in our nation. We are number one for access of getting AR-14s in our hands. And we must work together as a collaboration and put the partisanship aside and see the real human damage this is doing to our children. We talk about our children. I cannot even imagine when I was going to elementary school to have to go through what those children went through in Texas or Sandy Hook, okay, or Oxford, just going to school on a normal day. And if we put sensible gun reforms in place, red flagging a person when they come in, or making sure you have safe storage, or the bill that I introduced, the one that says limit magazine capacity. Limit the capacity. Don't make it so that you can reload and kill. This is some of the things that I believe that is becoming a human issue with all of us lawmakers. And I do believe in my heart we're going to see some movement on that.
We're joined by Representative Brenda Carter from Michigan's 29th State Congressional District on the Michigan Megacast. And just for reference, you mentioned AR-15 style guns being used recently in many of these shootings, including in Buffalo at the grocery store that killed 10 people. And of course, at the elementary school in Uvalde, Texas, where 19 children were shot dead very recently. Also, AR-15 style guns. There's a great article in the Detroit News today from Lindsay Whitehurst at the Associated Press that these particular guns have brought in over $1 billion in sales in the last 10 years. These are highly marketable guns, and they're being highly marketed, and for a variety of reasons. Not all of these are being used in school shootings, but to address those issues even further, you mentioned having these automatic or semi-automatic weapons, and in this case, one that can fire high capacity rounds fairly quickly, and getting those into the hands of people. What sort of measures can be put in place to limit those styles of guns at the state level? At the federal level, it's one thing, but at the state level, how do you go about addressing specific styles of guns or specific kinds of magazines?
We have tried, Tyler, for this whole entire session. The chair of the Firearms Safety and Gun Violence Prevention Caucus, Senator Rosemary Bear, whose district also includes Oxford, created this bipartisan group of legislators who have introduced almost 60 bills. Mine was not the only one, almost 60 bills where we felt this was sensible gun reform. They have not had any movement in the House, that's for sure. Not sure how much movement they had in the Senate, but one of the things that we're looking at, because I work with Moms Demand Action, I work for Every Town for Gun Safety and Every Town in Michigan, all of these groups, Pontiac United Crimes, there's so many groups out there now that just want to see a stop to this. And I feel that if the legislature, for partisan reasons, cannot see that these attacks on our citizens, on our residents, not just the children, as you said, it's in our communities. If they can't see that putting sensible gun reforms in place to help protect our citizens is necessary, I feel we may have to go to a ballot initiative.
We're joined by Representative Brenda Carter from Michigan's 29th State Congressional District in Oakland County on the Michigan Megacast. Representative Carter, just a few more minutes with you. I want to talk about you recently, at the end of last year, at the end of 2021, you helped to secure a $200,000 grant for career navigation at Oakland University. Can you talk about helping to secure that grant and how that's going to be used at the university to help students get ready for their careers, and then once they do graduate and they're ready to enter the workforce, hopefully in your local area in Oakland County, or at the very least, staying put right here in Michigan, that they're able to best put their foot forward?
Tyler, we have identified that all of our children in Michigan are not going to be headed to college. We've identified that. And through the work of Carlton Jones and the Talent Development Coalition and Douglas Jones, Pastor Douglas Jones of Welcome Missionary Baptist Church, they created this program where they garner our young people in high school and teach them the soft skills they need to go into not only an apprenticeable trade, but if they want to become a nurse or if they wanted to go into culinary, this bridge to these jobs was the reason for why I advocated in Lansing for the $200,000. Now, I had no idea that I would be recognized for something that I just feel that is just necessary for all of our young people who are not college bound. But it was really great to see this program in action. And recently, I want to give a huge shout out to Carlton Jones once again, because he's walking the walk and talking the talk. He has another cohort of young people that's coming through this program, and he's getting them ready to just go right into the job market. And that was the reason behind this $200,000 grant in collaboration with Oakland University that does an outstanding job of reaching into our communities and working with our young people who are not college ready. So this was a win-win for not only Oakland University, but the city of Pontiac and surrounding, because we do have young people from Auburn Hills and West Bloomfield and anywhere the young people need this additional little push to start them on the path to being successful in our society, in our job market. And this is why this money was allocated. And if I could take a minute just to give a little shout out, yesterday at Pontiac City Council, I was able to present Kano Phillips of the Clarence E. Phillips Ascend Foundation $500,000. His program is going into our elementary schools and looking for young people and developing their soft skills, actually working with our teachers and our parapros and everybody in the school in elementary, and supplying them with the necessary tools they need to hopefully get them through the whole path. When they graduated from high school, they would be job ready as well. So what this is pretty much is workforce development. It is educational development. It's assisting underserved communities to help these communities bring these bright and brilliant young people right into the market. Because right now I found, and coming from Pontiac School District Board of Education, I found that most children in Michigan who are underserved only need to have a chance. And once we provide them with the resources they need to be competitive, they will not only be competitive, they will excel.
Representative Carter, appreciate you joining us. Thanks for being with us today.
Tyler, thank you so very much for having me.
Keep up to date on everything that your local representatives are doing in Congress at the state level by visiting legislature.mi.gov. We appreciate Representative Carter for joining us today. We'll take a break on the Oakland County Megacast. When we come back, we'll talk about a program at Oakland University that allows students with a variety of interests to pursue their degree and pursue those multiple disciplines. That's coming up next on the Oakland County Megacast.
Let's relish these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the festivals going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine to keep safe and strong. Be like happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine. I'm feeling good.
Let's savor these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the dining out going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date.
Connect with local leaders, philanthropists, and more. The Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce presents the 2022 Leadership Breakfast. Join the Chamber for a morning of insight with guest speaker Laura Graneman, with the whole event emceed by Fox 2 News anchor Roop Raj. Join your local businesses at the Wabeat Country Club September 13th at 8:30 a.m. Order your tickets by September 6th at westbloomfieldchamber.com/breakfast. We'll see you there.
Let's whoop it up for these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the cheering going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important. And now the same is true as we face the flu. Influenza has the potential to infect millions, putting lives and the healthcare system at risk. Fortunately, it's easy to protect yourself. The flu vaccine is safe and effective, and with COVID-19 still spreading, it's essential. To see how you can hit this virus head-on, visit michigan.gov/flu. Now that the vaccine is available for children 5 and up, why do you recommend it?
Kids are part of the community and they can spread COVID.
We're seeing both healthy children getting sick from the virus as well as children with underlying health conditions.
They can easily bring the virus home to other people that are vulnerable and make them sick as well.
This vaccine can change that and keep children safe.
It's essential that your children get vaccinated to protect them, to protect your families, and to protect those in the community around you.
Let's relish these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the festivals going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine to keep safe and strong. Be like happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine.
Welcome back to the Oakland County Megacast, our live daily 1-hour show about all things Oakland County. I'm Tyler Kieft. Learn more about the program on civiccentertv.com on our Megacast page, where you'll find information on our entire network of stations, including My Michigan TV. Just type in civiccentertv.com/Megacast. Joining us now on the Oakland County Megacast is an academic advisor at Oakland University in their interdisciplinary studies department. Lindsay Zeig joins us on the Megacast. Lindsay, for those that go into college, often they will have one or two subject areas that they're really interested in. And by the time they get through their prerequisite classes, those general education classes, they have decided on one specific career path or study program to go into. For other students, they have all these different interests and they're not really sure which way to go, or maybe they want to apply all of those interests into their career path. There's a program at Oakland University in the interdisciplinary studies department. Can you tell us about that program and how it allows these students to then explore these different disciplines, explore these areas of interest while still preparing them for a high quality education, giving them a high quality education and helping them prepare for taking that education into the workplace?
Yeah, absolutely. The Bachelor of Interdisciplinary Studies is a program where students can design their degree based on their specific career goals. So it works well for students who want to integrate different areas together, perhaps students that are transferring in with multiple transfer credits from other institutions. We can really use all of those credits to design an individualized degree that is literally perfect for every single student.
So it really allows them to explore many areas of interests that they can explore, and opportunities that they have at Oakland University to advance their academic career and even set them up for extensive different paths that they can go when they do finish their career at Oakland University.
Yeah, absolutely. So quite a few of our students do go on for graduate school. So sometimes students will use our program as a stepping stone in order to complete the prerequisites that they need to go on for medical school or PA school, even law school. We have an agreement with some local law schools where students can double count their senior year with their first year of law school. So some really creative ways to maximize credits and to set students up. Now, if students are not quite sure what they want, since they're creating this individualized degree, our counselors in our office do intensive career counseling so that we can help students to be really confident and sure about their next steps. And then we can develop this individualized plan of study to help them to get to that point.
We're joined by Lindsay Zeig. She is the program academic advisor at Oakland University for their Bachelor of Integrative Studies program, joining us on the Oakland County Megacast. You can get more information on the program by visiting Oakland's website at oakland.edu/BIS. That's oakland.edu/BIS, which stands, of course, for Bachelor of Integrative Studies. And so who are good candidates for a degree program like this? If somebody is considering going to Oakland University and studying interdisciplinary studies, what makes them a good candidate for that degree program, or what makes you as an academic advisor advise them to then go into that specific degree program?
Yeah, good question. Transfer students. So we really service a lot of students who have some college and no degree. So what I have found as an academic advisor in my time at Oakland has been I come across students who maybe started college 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20, 30 years ago sometimes, and they never finished their degree for multiple reasons. Either they got a great job, or they started a family, or maybe college just wasn't right for them then. And so now they want to fulfill their lifelong dream of getting a bachelor's degree. So they can transfer all of those credits that they did before and apply those directly towards this program. And then we will help them to develop that final year or wherever they're at, right? So that they can be best prepared for their next steps.
So as they're going through this program, obviously they're studying in a number of different areas. It's an interdisciplinary study. It's not necessarily so specific to the sciences or specific to the arts or the humanities. It's a little bit of a lot so that they can venture out into different areas of interest in terms of their ability to take that degree program and then turn that into a job when they do graduate and then to a career path after that. What sort of help is there from Oakland University? Because I would imagine on the other side, for those that are interviewing candidates who have gone through this program, that this seems like a very broad degree program when they maybe are looking for something more specific.
Yeah, absolutely. So, the interdisciplinary studies program is really in line with the idea that a lot of employers are looking for folks who know how to do more than one thing, right? That are skilled in multiple different areas. This idea of an interdisciplinary workforce. And so that is something that we train our students in, is to be intentional about their course choices so that they will be uniquely qualified for the career field. So one of the ways that we do that too is through their capstone course. So every single one of our students does a capstone course before they graduate, where they learn to articulate their degree and to really talk about what skills, what concepts, what theories, what abilities did they learn from each of their courses that is going to help them to be successful in their career fields. And so our students go on to be really successful. They can offer different things to different organizations and go on to really utilize every single skill that they gain through their coursework in a unique way.
We're joined by Lindsay Zai. She is the program academic advisor for the Bachelor of Interdisciplinary Studies at of Integrative Studies program at Oakland University. You can learn more information on the Bachelor of Integrative Studies program by visiting oakland.edu/BIS. That's oakland.edu/BIS for more information on the Bachelor of Integrative Studies program, as well as their Interdisciplinary Studies program at Oakland University. And so as students are crafting their integrative studies degree, and because there is so much flexibility with that and customizable nature to this degree program, how do you as an academic advisor then work with them to create a degree program that gets them this degree at Oakland University, qualifies them to receive their degree from Oakland University in integrative studies, but also set them up individually for what their best areas of interest are and where they would like to go in their career path, or where they're considering in their career path?
Yeah, good question. So the first thing that we do when we get a student who's interested in the program is we meet with them and talk about their career goals. So our academic advisors are highly trained in all areas that we offer at the university. So we're familiar with every single different school, every single different college, and all of the course offerings that are available. And so we help to guide students in choosing the classes that are going to be the best fit for them. As they're applying for this individualized degree, we work with students to, number one, select their coursework, and then write a rationale, which is essentially 6 questions asking about the student's career goals, what are their aspirations, and how will these courses help them to achieve those goals. The last step in the process is we have them meet with a faculty mentor. So we get them connected with one of our professors that specializes in the area that they want to go into. So it's just another person in place to support them. So we like to look at it as a very holistic process where they get their academic advisor, they have their faculty mentor, and then they have their professors in each course that are available to help them in developing the strongest plan possible. So we bring in our expertise, but then we go to somebody who is even more qualified in that exact field, so that they're getting that individualized advice, which is actually pretty unique. And so then students can feel really good about their choices.
We're joined by Lindsay Zeig from Oakland University. She is the academic program advisor at Oakland University for their Bachelor of Integrative Studies program. More information can be found on that program by visiting oakland.edu/BIS. That's oakland.edu/BIS for more information. Lindsay, if students are exploring a degree in integrative studies or considering going into the interdisciplinary studies program at Oakland University, why should they consider that as opposed to double majoring, where they can go out and have 2 degrees in 2 different programs and take that similar route, but having 2 degrees in your belt instead of 1?
Yeah, good question. So that is an opportunity too, and we do advise students on both options. The advantage to the interdisciplinary studies degree is really just time. So time and cost. So they can do the entire program in 120 credits. We can maximize those transfer credits. One thing that's really beneficial are our articulation agreements that we have with local community colleges, where your students can transfer in up to 88 credits. So a lot of students will do 88 credits at Oakland Community College, Macomb Community College, SC4, any Michigan community college, we can accept up to 88. And then they'll do their last 32 credits at OU. So it's a big time and cost saver. And I think that that's where that advantage is, why a student would choose this program over a double major, where it might take them twice the amount of time, and they can accomplish some of those same goals.
Just how unique is this program to Oakland University? Is this something that's commonly at many universities in Michigan or across the region, maybe even the US? Or is this something that's really quite unique and innovative on the part of Oakland?
So integrative studies programs, interdisciplinary study programs in general are all over the place, and sometimes they're structured already. So there are many bachelor's degrees that are already interdisciplinary, meaning they bring in different subject areas, but they have a name attached to it and specific courses that are required to take. But as far as designing your degree and creating that individualized plan, many colleges in Michigan have that option. So it's not completely unique to Oakland. I think what's unique to Oakland is our transfer friendly option, that we're able to accept as many transfer credits as what we can. And then that ability to design it from scratch if students want to. So we have some options that are, fast track programs that are a little bit more structured, and we can work with students through those too. But a lot of students do choose to do that individualized plan that is completely unique for them.
More information can be found on oakland.edu/BIS. That's oakland.edu/BIS for more information. You can also fill out information on that page too to contact the university and schedule an appointment to explore more options in the integrative studies program by calling 248-370-3229, 248-370-3229, or email them at bis@oakland.edu, bis@oakland.edu. All that information can also be found in the contact form on oakland.edu/BIS. Lindsay, just another couple minutes with you before we'll say goodbye today. Anything else that would be important for our audience to keep in consideration at this time about Oakland University's Bachelor of Integrative Studies program, or other information we haven't discussed that would be interesting to know?
Yeah. Since I've worked with this program so long, I like to consider this the degree that makes people's dreams come true. And so we can make things work for students. We're very strategic about helping them to work through different difficulties that they might be facing with cost or time or different things like that. So we can work with students to really maximize those transfer credits, or if they're already at Oakland, we can help them in changing their major. We also have some students that start right from the very beginning as freshmen, and those students are really just looking for that individualized degree. Perhaps it's something that we don't offer at the university that's pretty unique, like sports management or something like that, and we can really design that and make that happen for those students. So overall, our alumni that are out there in the world, we are very proud of them and their success. We're happy that they keep in touch, and they look out for other alumni students who are graduating. So they're looking for them to hire and to bring on as well. So it's something that works for everyone, no matter what your career path is. And I think that's something that makes us really unique and why students really gravitate towards this degree.
We're joined by Lindsay Zeig, Program Academic Advisor at Oakland University for their Bachelor of Interdisciplinary Studies program, talking about the Bachelor of Integrative Studies program at Oakland University. More information can be found on oakland.edu/BIS. Lindsay, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
We'll take a quick break on your radio homes for the Megacast, 89.3 WBLD Orchard Lake and 88.1 WBFH Bloomfield Hills, as well as the remainder of our network. When we come back, we'll kick off the Michigan Megacast Hour, talking about tourism in mid-Michigan. This is the Michigan Megacast.
Connect with local leaders, philanthropists, and more. The Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce presents the 2022 Leadership Breakfast. Join the Chamber for a morning of insight with guest speaker Laura Graneman, with the whole event emceed by Fox 2 News anchor Roop Raj. Join your local businesses at the Wabeat Country Club September 13th at 8:30 a.m. Order your tickets by September 6th at westbloomfieldchamber.com/breakfast. We'll see you there.
Let's whoop it up for these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the cheering going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important. And now the same is true as we face the flu. Influenza has the potential to infect millions, putting lives and the healthcare system at risk. Fortunately, it's easy to protect yourself. The flu vaccine is safe and effective, and with COVID-19 still spreading, it's essential. To see how you can hit this virus head-on, visit michigan.gov/flu. Now that the vaccine is available for children 5 and up, why do you recommend it?
Kids are part of the community and they can spread COVID.
We're seeing both healthy children getting sick from the virus as well as children with underlying health conditions.
They can easily bring the virus home to other people that are vulnerable and make them sick as well.
This vaccine can change that and keep children safe.
It's essential that your children get vaccinated to protect them, to protect your families, and to protect those in the community around you.
Welcome to the Michigan Megacast. I'm Tyler Kieft, welcoming you to our live 5 days a week TV, radio, and streaming show that's a look into all things Michigan. Today, we'll be talking to Michigan travel experts, educational advocates, and more about topics of interest and importance to Michiganders like you. Learn more about the program on civiccentertv.com/megacast, where you'll find information on our entire network of stations, including My Michigan TV. Joining us now on the Michigan Megacast is Michael Hensley. He is the Director of Marketing and Sales at the Great Lakes Bay Regional Convention and Visitors Bureau. Michael, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to talk about what's going on right here in pure Michigan's Great Lakes Bay region.
So tell us first about the Great Lakes Bay region. For those that may not be familiar with that terminology, where does that area serve?
Yeah, so the Great Lakes Bay region is a 3-county region, and if you get your wonderful Michigan map up, it's right here where your thumb meets your hand. It covers Saginaw Bay and Midland counties, and there are 6 premier tourism cities within those counties: Midland, Bay City, Saginaw, Frankenmuth, Birch Run, and Chesaning.
So it's a little bit of mid-Michigan and a little bit of the Lake Huron area, kind of encompassing that middle lower peninsula area on the east side and all the great things that happen there throughout the year as well. Michael, there's so many great activities to do around any of the Great Lakes in the state of Michigan, but I think that's one area of the state that kind of does get overlooked. If people are going to the Great Lakes, they're either going traditionally up north, or they're going to the west side of the state to visit Lake Michigan and a lot of those small towns and beach towns over there. But there's a lot of great things that can be done in the Great Lakes Bay area, in the mid-Michigan area as well, especially during these summer months.
Absolutely. Summer is a perfect time to visit pure Michigan's Great Lakes Bay region. Whether you're a fisherman, a hiker, a biker, or a kayaker, we have so many trails, rivers, watersheds, we have access to the Saginaw Bay, which is world renowned for walleye fishing. So if you're a fisherman, you've got to get up here and check it out. If you are somebody who likes museums and culture, we have a lot of that in some of our cities. And it's just an awesome place to slow down, relax, connect, and regrow those relationships with your loved ones.
And it's great all throughout the year too, because you really get a great sense of Michigan winter when you're there in the colder months of the year. In the fall, you get that Michigan fall sense of it. You can still do a lot of those activities, like you said, like the fishing, especially that people love to do in mid-Michigan. And it's a great area for that, even in the fall, as we get out of the dog days of summer that we're in right now.
Well, the fall fishing is spectacular here, especially if you are into walleye fishing. The Saginaw River does not disappoint. And, on our podcast, we talk with people like Mark Martin and Mike Avery. They give the hottest fishing tips in that time frame that they're on. I was just talking with somebody. Fall fishing is almost right in the beginning of the season. So getting onto the Saginaw River, doing some jigging for some walleye, catfish, all sorts of Michigan fish that you are familiar with catching inland lakes out in Lake St. Clair or Lake Michigan. We've got them right here in the Great Lakes Bay region and the Saginaw Bay.
This time of the year is one of the favorite times of the year for people to go out and explore their local farmers market. And there's so many great farmers market or outdoor market activities to do in the state of Michigan. And that includes in the Great Lakes Bay region. There's plenty of them all throughout that region, the mid-Michigan area, in the Lake Huron bordering area as well. Can you tell us about some of those kinds of activities and the variety that is there between these many different markets?
Well, the Great Lakes Bay region has some of the richest soil in the state. There, things like sugar beets, soybean, corn, a lot of the stuff you would see around the state, it grows really well here. Therefore, we've got a lot of really fresh products at some of our farmers markets, as well as some of those traditional fall activities like apple orchards and cider mills and pumpkin patches and things like that. As you're moving up into the fall season, getting ready for some of that fall travel and that fall fun, those are premier spots like Johnson's Pumpkin Patch, Bain's Apple Farm. There's so many, I can't even list them all. We would be here for an hour.
GoGreat.com for more information on a number of activities in mid-Michigan and the Great Lakes Bay region as well, from people such as Michael Hensley joining us on the Michigan Megacast from the Great Lakes Bay Regional Convention and Visitors Bureau on the program today. Again, GoGreat.com is their website for more information, GoGreat.com. And in terms of activities throughout the year, Michael, what are some of your favorites to do spreading out throughout the full calendar to make way to the Great Lakes Bay region for activities, for events, and so on?
Oh gosh, I can't even pinpoint, but I'm a big outdoorsman, so a lot of hiking and biking trails, things like that. But also some of the festivals in the area are second to none. We've got some really cool ones coming up this for the fall, like AutoFest and Oktoberfest in Frankenmuth, the African Cultural Festival this weekend in Saginaw. Leads up to a great festival season, but there are festivals all year round. There's Snowfest in the wintertime. In the spring, there's the fall, there's the Eat Great Food Festival. There's the River Days in Midland. I mean, there are so many festivals. You're not going to have a weekend where there aren't one right here in the Great Lakes Bay region. Makes a great stop on that way up north.
Yeah, it is. And you got so many different activities to go and explore, so many different really interesting towns to explore as well. You mentioned Frankenmuth as being one of those areas that you can really get a great sense of culture in the state of Michigan from one of our great communities there in mid-Michigan. But also there's so many other cities and small towns too that you can get a really great feel for pure Michigan in the Great Lakes Bay region. Can you tell us about some of the activities in the cities themselves, in Flint, in Saginaw? You mentioned for a bit there in Frankenmuth and other areas in the Great Lakes Bay region that people may not be thinking about when they're thinking about fun things to do on their weekend or in their Michigan travel plans.
Yeah, absolutely. I won't speak to Flint because that's not in the area that we cover, but in Saginaw, there are so many different cultural hubs like the Japanese Cultural Center. You can go and witness a cultural or a typical tea ceremony and do a tour of the Japanese Cultural Center there, as well as the Castle Museum. It's a French chateau-shaped building. It's a beautiful building with a lot of rich history. Saginaw County. Bay City is a lumber town, so there's a lot of history there as well. If you drive down Center Avenue, you'll see some of those old lumber baron type mansions, and it's just a really, really cool way to take in some nostalgic time frames that Michigan went through. Heading over into Midland, Michigan, there are a lot of ways that Midland has taken and innovated how to experience nature. For instance, Dow Gardens has a 1/4 mile long canopy walk at the Whiting Forest portion of the Dow Gardens campus. That's something you can't miss. It's a great way to get out, get back into nature, and you're up in the treetops. It's just a really cool experience. Pair that with the Alden B. Dow Museum. So much going on in Midland, in Bay City, in Saginaw. Birch Run, home to the Birch Run outlets. Who hasn't stopped there if you've gone up I-75 and just in time for some school shopping? So they've got all sorts of name brands, really, really great deals, and they're just located right off I-75 in beautiful Birch Run. Chesaning is a quaint little town that has so much to offer, especially if you love small town America. There, the Stonehouse Inn is a great place to stay. There's a crop and quilt quilting place, and so much more in that little small town of Chesaning. You've got to get up to the Great Lakes Bay region and check this stuff out for yourself.
More information can be found on their social media across many different platforms at Go Great Lakes Bay. That's Go Great Lakes Bay on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Pinterest, on YouTube. However, it is Great Lakes Bay CVB. But you can find all that information also linked on their website, gogreat.com. That's gogreat.com for more information. We're joined by Michael Hensley from the Great Lakes Bay Regional Convention and Visitors Bureau on the Michigan Megacast. And again, the website is gogreat.com. In terms of activities that people maybe aren't thinking about when they think about the Great Lakes Bay region or when they think about mid-Michigan, what are some of those hidden gems in terms of activities or events that people can experience in this region that maybe they're not thinking about all the time?
Oh my gosh, hidden gems. Well, there's so many of them, but I'll start with some of the nightlife available in downtown Bay City. Downtown Bay City has so many different bars, restaurants, entertainment venues. If you're coming through Bay City area, make sure you stop, you experience some nightlife, you have a good time, stay overnight in one of our many wonderful hotels right there in Bay City or the adjacent areas. And the nightlife there is really second to none. An entire walkable city that is so ready to serve you. And we just look forward to having so many visitors up into the Bay City area.
Michael, you mentioned earlier the Dow Gardens in Midland. They have a really interesting event coming up. Not many people like bugs, but it's interesting to look at some of the many different creatures that are considered bugs. They have their big bugs exhibit coming up at the Dow Gardens. Tell us about that and what people can expect.
Well, it's basically giant sculptures of different kind of bugs and insects, all sorts of really cool art pieces that resemble some pretty big bugs throughout the Dow Gardens campus. If anybody's seen Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, it'll take you right back to that movie. It's just a really, really cool concept, especially little kids love it. It's just a really great way to get people back into that perceived sense of being one with those insects in the nature, and it's just a really cool way to see some really cool art pieces, and it's available now right at Dow Gardens.
More information can be found gogreat.com. Gogreat.com is the website for the Great Lakes Bay Regional Convention and Visitors Bureau, who's Michael Hensley joins us on the Michigan Megacast. And again, their social media, pretty much every platform is Go Great Lakes Bay. Go Great Lakes Bay on almost all social media, except for YouTube, where it's Great Lakes Bay CVB, and you can keep up to date on everything that's happening in a variety of these cities and towns by visiting gogreat.com. That's gogreat.com for more information. And there's so many really interesting activities too, kind of extensive activities that can happen on the water as we're still trying to savor the last few days of summer and as we savor the warmer parts of fall. What are some activities people should be getting to mid-Michigan and the Great Lakes Bay for in the coming days and the weeks to experience before we get into those colder months of the year?
Well, this is the perfect time in the year to get out on one of our river systems and out into the bay. The warmer temperatures all summer have warmed the water up. We're starting to decrease the amount of humidity that's in in the air. So it's a great time to get out on the water and experience some of that stuff. You can do that many different ways. You can bring your kayaks or rent a kayak, hit one of our river systems. You can go on one of the boat cruises that port out of Bay City, that's on the Appledore or on the Princess Winona with Bay City Boat Lines. You can take a really quaint little cruise on the Cass River with the Bavarian Belle, and so much more. There's really a lot of ways to get out on the water, experience some of that fresh water that we love here in Michigan so much, and get out onto the Saginaw Bay. And like I said, the fishing here in Saginaw Bay is second to none. It's world renowned for walleye. So if you want to experience, don't really have a vessel to get out on the water, don't worry. There's a ton of charter captains in the area that are more than happy to take you out and let you experience some of that Saginaw Bay walleye fishing first class.
GoGreat.com is the website for all these different activities and different events going on in the Great Lakes Bay region, courtesy of the Great Lakes Bay Regional Convention and Visitors Bureau, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. While you're experiencing these different activities and fun events and more in the Great Lakes Bay region, go ahead and share the moment on social media, #GoGreatLakesBay. We're joined by Michael Hensley from the Great Lakes Bay Regional Convention and Visitors Bureau. Michael, a couple more minutes with you before we'll say goodbye today. Anything else that we haven't discussed yet that would be interesting for our audience to keep in mind as they head to your region of Michigan, or other things to be keeping in mind in terms of fun events coming up later on in the year?
Well, I mean, there's so many events and so many activities and attractions to do in the area. If you want to learn more about who runs these attractions, how they got started, we've got a podcast. It's called the Great Lakes Bay Podcast. There we talk with all sorts of attraction owners, lodging facility owners, restaurant owners. Just talk to them why they love the Great Lakes Bay region, how they got their businesses started, and gives you a chance to learn a little more about what is going on in the region and who's running this stuff. There we also talk about festivals, and who doesn't love a good festival? The upcoming festivals that I'm so excited for, Tyler. Again, I mentioned that the African Cultural Festival is this weekend. It's the longest running African Cultural Festival. You have got to check it out. There's so many really great pieces of cultural history, as well as just everybody congregating and having a great time celebrating some of this African culture that is right prominent here in the Great Lakes Bay region. Although, if you would like to experience some fall weather, don't worry. AutoFest in Frankenmuth is a great festival to experience some of those cooler, crisper temperatures. Get out, have a good time, see some awesome old classic cars. If you are loving a nice little block party, come on the Friday night of that festival there. They shut down Main Street. Everybody parks in the cars or on the street and has a really great time. There's competitions throughout the weekend. And really awesome spots to get in and immerse yourself in some of that Frankenmuth culture. And then there's just so much going on. If you are interested in slowing down, taking a minute and just getting to know the surroundings around you, we have so many great trails to do that. And all that stuff can be found at gogreat.com. That's GOGREAT.com.
Michael, we appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us and telling us all the great things we can do in the Great Lakes Bay Regional Convention and Visitors Bureau area up there in the Great Lakes Bay.
Thank you so much for having me. I look forward to talking to you again, and look forward to seeing everybody in pure Michigan's Great Lakes Bay region.
GoGreat.com for more information and to learn even more in extensive media. You can go to thegreatvoice.com to listen to the Go Great Lakes Bay podcast that Michael mentioned here as well. Thegreatvoice.com for the podcast, or GoGreat.com for all the activities, information, events, and more from the Great Lakes Bay Regional Convention and Visitors Bureau. We'll take a break on the Michigan Megacast. When we come back, an upcoming health event at Eastern Market in Detroit. We'll preview that with Dexter Sullivan from the Black Legacy Advancement Coalition next on the Michigan Megacast.
Now that the vaccine is available for children 5 and up, why do you recommend it?
Kids are part of the community and they can spread COVID.
We're seeing both healthy children getting sick from the virus as well as children with underlying health conditions.
They can easily bring the virus home to other people that are vulnerable and make them sick as well.
This vaccine can change that and keep children safe.
It's essential that your children get vaccinated to protect them, to protect your families, and to protect those in the community around you.
Let's relish these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the festivals going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine to keep safe and strong. Be like happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine. I'm feeling good.
Let's savor these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the dining out going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date.
Connect with local leaders, philanthropists, and more. The Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce presents the 2022 Leadership Breakfast. Join the Chamber for a morning of insight with guest speaker Laura Graneman, with the whole event emceed by Fox 2 News anchor Roop Raj. Join your local businesses at the Wabeat Country Club September 13th at 8:30 a.m. Order your tickets by September 6th at westbloomfieldchamber.com/breakfast. We'll see you there.
Let's whoop it up for these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the cheering going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important. And now the same is true as we face the flu. Influenza has the potential to infect millions, putting lives and the healthcare system at risk. Fortunately, it's easy to protect yourself. The flu vaccine is safe and effective, and with COVID-19 still spreading, it's essential. To see how you can hit this virus head-on, visit michigan.gov/flu. Now that the vaccine is available for children 5 and up, why do you recommend it?
Kids are part of the community and they can spread COVID.
We're seeing both healthy children getting sick from the virus as well as children with underlying health conditions.
They can easily bring the virus home to other people that are vulnerable and make them sick as well.
This vaccine can change that and keep children safe.
It's essential that your children get vaccinated to protect them, to protect your families, and to protect those in the community around you.
Let's relish these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the festivals going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine to keep safe and strong. Be like happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine. I'm feeling good.
Let's savor these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the dining out going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date.
Connect with local leaders, philanthropists, and more. The Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce presents the 2022 Leadership Breakfast. Join the Chamber for a morning of insight with guest speaker Laura Graneman, with the whole event emceed by Fox 2 News anchor Roop Raj. Join your local businesses at the Wabeat Country Club September 13th at 8:30 a.m. Order your tickets by September 6th at westbloomfieldchamber.com/breakfast. We'll see you there.
Let's whoop it up for these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the cheering going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date.
Welcome back to the Michigan Megacast, our live daily 1-hour show about all things Michigan. I'm Tyler Kieft. Learn more about the program at civiccentertv.com/megacast, where you'll find information on our entire network of stations, including My Michigan TV. Joining us now on the Michigan Megacast is Dexter Sullivan. He is the president of the Black Legacy Advancement Coalition and joins us now on the program. Dexter, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having us, Tyler.
Appreciate having you on. So first off, let's talk about the Black Legacy Advancement Coalition. Tell us about your organization and the work that it does here in Michigan.
Absolutely. Well, we're a movement that builds Black power by providing education and resources that uplift our communities. We're focused on Detroit, but we have members all across the country, and we are excited to have this opportunity to share more about our work here with you. Currently, we are preparing for Health is Wealth Detroit, which is our largest annual event that will be hosted at the Eastern Market on Tuesday, August 16th. We also invest a lot of resources in neighborhoods. We just launched the Ollie Legacy House for young men, which is housing our apprenticeship programming. So we're keeping busy, making sure we're making investments that are relevant to the needs of the city of Detroit and other areas across the country.
So how do you assess those needs and how they change over time? And then from there, modify your programming, modify your mission so as to fill in those gaps and provide the educational advancement that is so critical especially in marginalized communities in order to provide advancement for these individuals?
Absolutely. I think one of the ways that we stay in step is to listen. And so we spend a lot of time listening to our constituents. We're not elected officials, but these are the people that we serve. And so we host focus groups and lots of events annually to make sure that we're getting a pulse, do some surveying as well. And that keeps us close to the ground in terms of what resources are relevant and significant.
So at this time, what are some of the resources or what are some of the programs that are available through your organization to provide the education and the other resources that are so critical to these communities and are often neglected in these communities by the greater community?
Yeah, so we have a significant focus on young people, and our mentoring program, the Man to Man Project, it turns 13 this year. Over the years, we've had the opportunity to mentor hundreds of young men through that program. And we've added the apprenticeship, which is a life-on-life program. These young people are paired with industry mentors. So if they have a desire to go into mental health or into merchandising or into the arts or the sciences, we find someone that's achieving success in those areas, pair them with them, and then creating also a sustaining working environment that they have an on-ramp to that career. And so those wraparounds really add another level to the impact. And the Ollie Legacy House, which we've just recently acquired, helps us to take that to the next level by actually providing a housing environment that's secure. A lot of our young people have housing insecurities and even sometimes lapse into homelessness. And those barriers can be significant when you're trying to move forward. So we like to make sure that we're investing in those areas and creating some protections for young people today.
We're joined by Dexter Sullivan, the president of the Black Legacy Advancement Coalition on the Michigan Megacast. You can find more information on the black.co. That's the THEBLAC.co. That is their website for more information. Dexter, what's interesting about the way that your organization is organized is that while so many organizations that are advocates in their communities or in the communities in Michigan and beyond sort of focus on all these issues at once all together, your organization divides them into different commissions and kind of tackle those issues on an issue by issue basis and then bring them back together. Can you talk about that division of resources and how that impacts the work that you're able to do to help people in the communities that you serve?
Absolutely. So no one can do it all, but we all have a significant part to play. And if we play our role and we play it well, we can win as a team. So we make it our business to empower leaders to really level up and take initiative. We have some incredible board members that serve with us and help to make this work possible. We also have, as you mentioned, our commission leaders that are over the various sectors. And so that allows us to have an impact in education and technology, in the arts, in health and wellness, and in various other areas that we impact society every day. And so having those broader supports in terms of other leaders that are leading in that space really helps us to multiply our efforts.
TheBLAC.co is the website. That is TheBLAC.co for more information. That's the Black Legacy Advancement Coalition. It's the acronym for BLAC.co for more info. If people want to get involved, either in a mentorship capacity, in a leadership capacity with one of your commissions, or maybe they're in need of some of the resources that are provided by your organization, how can they best get involved with the Black Legacy Advancement Coalition?
Yes. So they can always connect to our website that you've already mentioned, theblac.co. And then also feel free to email us, call us. We're always just a reach away. And then we also invite you to come and check us out. We have a wellness exhibit that's coming to the Eastern Market August 16th, and that's an all-day event. And it's not only health and wellness. We'll also have Fifth Third Bank there providing credit counseling and financial advice. We'll have kids exhibits and giveaways. Beyond Juices donating hundreds of smoothies to young people. We'll have Swag Kids Gym, the Pistons. They're doing a pavilion experience with backpacks and balls and a court. So there will be a lot of activity. We'll have over 4 dozen vendors. There will be free wellness testing. There'll be a concert, so good music, food trucks, great food. It'll just be a festival. So if you want to learn more about us, I encourage you, come on out to the Eastern Market Tuesday between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. We'll be there all day long.
More information can be found on theblac.co. That's theblac.co for more information. Dexter Sullivan joins us on the Michigan Megacast. He is the president of the Black Legacy Advancement Coalition, who is holding, again, their Health is Wealth Detroit event, a holistic wellness expo at Eastern Market next week, Tuesday, August 16th, 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. That is at Eastern Market, Tuesday, August 16th, 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. And Dexter, to form this event, this is a significant event. It's a large event. There's quite a lot for people to learn and a lot for people to engage with. Why to focus on health, and particularly in the city of Detroit for this particular event?
Well, over the last few years, it's no secret that Detroit was hit very hard by the pandemic. Many lives were lost, and health disparities are real. They're measurable. And so we know by the metrics that we are behind the curve and that we have a ways to go. And so we want to make sure that we're putting resources into neighborhoods right here in Detroit and across the Metroplex. So we have people coming from all over the greater Detroit area. We even have some folks flying in from out of town because they value the information that's going to be presented. And we'll have wellness experts presenting as well as being awarded for their work in the space. We have individuals like David McCullough, who launched the first mental health gym in the world right here in Farmington Hills, Michigan. And so we have some thought leaders that we want to make sure that we're being recognized and then also sharing what they have to offer with the local community.
healthiswealthdetroit.com for more information on the event. That's healthiswealthdetroit.com for more information. Again, that event, Tuesday, August 16th from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. all day long at Eastern Market in Detroit. That is the Black Legacy Advancement Coalition's event, Health is Wealth Detroit. Tuesday, August 16th, 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. at Eastern Market. We're joined by Dexter Sullivan on the Michigan Megacast, the president of the Black Legacy Advancement Coalition. You can learn more information about the organization and get involved by visiting theblac.co. That is theblac.co for information on all the work that they do, even beyond the Health is Wealth Detroit event happening next Tuesday, 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. at Eastern Market. And Dexter, you mentioned earlier on, there's so many people that are coming in from around the Detroit area, from across Michigan, and even from beyond to help provide this information to the community, provide these resources, make that initial contact with people in Detroit so they know where they can go in advance of when they need to address certain health concerns or health issues in their community. In terms of partnership, how important is that element in all of this, not only for an event like this especially, but also just in a general sense of maintaining the sanctity of a community and the health of a community long term, especially when you're talking about communities like Detroit, as you said, that were hit so hard by a public health crisis like COVID-19?
Oh my goodness. Partnership is huge. It is the key really to making it work. You know, we are a 501c3 nonprofit, so all of our work is made possible by our partners. Ally Financial is one of the leading partners for our organization with sponsorship. They were a sponsorship partner for Health is Wealth Detroit, as well as the Detroit Pistons, United Healthcare, Molina Healthcare, Blue Cross Blue Shield. I could go on and on and on and on with the partners that are a part of this event. Midwest Commons provided a lot of our branding resources pro bono. And so we have a significant list of partners, and you can see them on our website. They're all acknowledged there. But you made a good point. How do we sustain the work that we do? And that is every dollar counting towards change. I always say, if you can invest somewhere significantly today, you'll make an impact tomorrow. And so we like for folks to understand that when they partner with us, that's going well beyond one moment in time. It's creating a catalytic opportunity for others to be impacted by the work as well. So we have young people now that we mentored, and now they have launched their own mentoring organizations that we're partnering with. And that's the kind of change that we want to see.
And we're seeing so many times the impact that a community coming together and a greater community coming together to help its neighbors can have on people, especially in terms of solving issues that our government or that our greater society decides that it's not a focus of theirs immediately to solve, when there needs to be immediate solutions. So all the more reason that this kind of involvement is so important. We're joined by Dexter Sullivan. He is the president of the Black Legacy Advancement Coalition, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. To get involved, theblac.co is their website, theblac.co. And to learn more about their Health is Wealth Detroit event coming up next week, Tuesday, August 16th, 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. at Eastern Market. You can visit healthiswealthdetroit.com. Dexter, another few minutes with you before we'll say goodbye today. Anything else at this time that would be important for our audience to keep in consideration about your organization, other ways that they can get involved, or upcoming events and opportunities that would be worthwhile to keep in mind if people want to help your organization and the great work that it does in the Detroit area?
Absolutely. We keep a lot of information online. And so we also would encourage you to follow us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. We're in all those places, LinkedIn as well. And so keep up with our journey. We have a lot coming up. After Health is Wealth Detroit, we will be entering into our Black Business Month celebration during the month of August. And so we invite you to be a part of that. And then towards the end of the year, our last quarter, we always focus on home. And so we will be rallying our partners and friends to join us as we are finalizing fundraising for the Ali Legacy House. Over $160,000 has been raised for that project, and we're about $90,000 away from being able to pay that house off and then acquire the Black Legacy Advancement Center. And that operation will house businesses, residential property, as well as a community space. And we are eager to see that work come. So you can visit theblac.co, as Tyler's already mentioned, to see the renderings and how that project is already in motion and some of the things that are planned.
More information, again, theblac.co. THEBLAC.co, or visit healthiswealthdetroit.com to learn more about their upcoming event on Tuesday, August 16th, 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. with partners from across the Detroit area in sectors of health and beyond. Help happening at Eastern Market. Dexter, appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, Tyler.
The BLAC.co for more information, including how you can donate both with standard donations as well as cryptocurrency donations, and support all the work that they're doing in the Detroit area and beyond. We'll take a break on the Michigan Megacast. On the other side, we'll talk about the critical issue of housing in the state of Michigan. Not everybody able to stay in their home long term or even be able to afford to live in their home, especially in today's days. In today's financial times. There are organizations such as Lighthouse Michigan are helping to bridge some of those gaps and help keep people under a roof and sheltered every single day. We'll be joined by Grace Hochstetler from Lighthouse of Michigan next on the Michigan Megacast.
Let's whoop it up for these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the cheering going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. In the face of COVID-19, staying healthy is important. And now the same is true as we face the flu. Influenza has the potential to infect millions, putting lives and the healthcare system at risk. Fortunately, it's easy to protect yourself. The flu vaccine is safe and effective, and with COVID-19 still spreading, it's essential. To see how you can hit this virus head-on, visit michigan.gov/flu. Now that the vaccine is available for children 5 and up, why do you recommend it?
Kids are part of the community and they can spread COVID.
We're seeing both healthy children getting sick from the virus as well as children with underlying health conditions.
They can easily bring the virus home to other people that are vulnerable and make them sick as well.
This vaccine can change that and keep children safe.
It's essential that your children get vaccinated to protect them, to protect your families, and to protect those in the community around you.
Let's relish these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the festivals going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine to keep safe and strong. Be like happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine. I'm feeling good.
Let's savor these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the dining out going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date.
Connect with local leaders, philanthropists, and more. The Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce presents the 2022 Leadership Breakfast. Join the Chamber for a morning of insight with guest speaker Laura Graneman, with the whole event emceed by Fox 2 News anchor Roop Raj. Join your local businesses at the Wabeat Country Club September 13th at 8:30 a.m. Order your tickets by September 6th at westbloomfieldchamber.com/breakfast. We'll see you there.
Welcome back to the Michigan Megacast, our live daily 1-hour show about all things Michigan. I'm Tyler Kieft. Learn more about our TV, radio, and streaming show at civiccentertv.com/megacast, where you'll find information on our entire network of stations, including My Michigan TV. Joining us now on the Michigan Megacast is Grace Hochstetler. She is from Lighthouse of Michigan and joins us on the program today. Grace, thanks for being with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Appreciate having you on. So for those that aren't familiar with the work that Lighthouse does, tell us about the organization, the way that it serves Michiganders.
Yeah, so Lighthouse is a nonprofit based out of Oakland County, Michigan. Our mission is to endeavor to build equitable communities that alleviate poverty. So we have a couple different options. We have an emergency food program, emergency shelter program, as well as kind of different wrap services that we provide to those in the community.
And so for those that are in need of some of these services, how do they get in contact with the organization? Because often if someone's struggling, especially financially, to afford housing and the basic necessities of day-to-day life that a lot of us take for granted, they may not be able to get in contact with you by a cell phone or by the internet, certainly. So how do you get in contact with a lot of the people that you serve?
Well, so a lot of people do end up calling us through our main line, and then we can connect people that way. But also I feel like we have a lot of connection with those in the community. So we work a lot with different schools and congregations and businesses that allow us to kind of expand our reach a little bit more to, spread our message as well as find more people to serve.
And then as we're approaching the end of the summer and we head into the back to school time of the year, so many families then are struggling to put the resources together to get their kids ready to go back to school, because on top of all the necessities that they're already working very hard to meet for themselves and for their families, now you got to get your kids back with school supplies, maybe new clothes or new backpacks. How does your organization at this time of the year help to serve those families too? Because that's also a big consideration in housing and the basic necessities that you're helping them provide.
Right. Yeah. So right now, in addition to our typical donations, which are usually food and personal care items, so like toothbrushes, toothpaste, deodorant, stuff like that, we are also looking for back to school items. So backpacks, anything that can be used for kids who are going back to school to kind of get them ready for that next step and maybe take a little bit of burden off of their parents.
We're joined by Grace Hochstetler. She is the engagement coordinator at Lighthouse of Michigan, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. You can find more information on the organization and get involved by visiting lighthousemi.org. That's lighthousemi.org for more information. If people themselves are in need of some of these services, or they know of someone that may be in need of your services, how do they best go about engaging with your organization? Because for many of these people, these issues aren't necessarily something that just randomly pops up. It's something that tends to be a recurring issue or an issue that's been going on for a while, and these resources can really help them out almost immediately if they're able to tap into them. So how do they get involved?
Yeah, so I think you just mentioned our website is one of the best ways to get involved. That gives you different links to all of our different services and the caseworkers who might be able to help you, as well as just calling our main line, which is 248-920-6000. And then that should be able to connect you with one of our staff members who then again can connect people with whoever would be the best fit.
About how long, when you are working with a family or an individual through some of these issues, about how long are they really with your organization and tapping into these resources? Because on the one hand, you want to, of course, provide these resources to individuals who are in need, but also help them get to a point in their life where they can also provide these on their own without the assistance necessarily of an organization, so you can help other people also that are in need of these resources. So how does your organization then work with these individuals and these families to continue to work toward a point where they can get out of this situation they're in, where they're struggling to meet these basic necessities while they're also continuing to get the help from your organization that's needed to be able to fight to get to that point?
Right, exactly. So that is something that we're really focused on. While we are providing these emergency services, our goal is sustainable poverty, alleviation for those who are in need. So we try to move them into sustainable housing for long-term solutions, as well as provide those wrap services. So anything to kind of help fully form an individual or a family or a client to get them back on their feet and make sure that this is kind of that they're moving in the direction that they feel comfortable and that they feel strong and supported with. So that's another one of our big goals with our programs.
We're joined by Grace Hochstetler. She is the engagement coordinator at Lighthouse of Michigan, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. Again, you can find more information on Lighthouse by visiting lighthousemi.org. Lighthousemi.org for information on resources, news, and events, ways that you can help them as well. Lighthousemi.org for all of that information. Grace, you, on top of some of the events we mentioned, like the back to school services and all of that, you have other opportunities too for people to get involved if they'd like to help your organization provide these resources to so many people. What sort of volunteer opportunities are available through Lighthouse of Michigan?
So we have a lot of different volunteer opportunities. The first is just kind of volunteering in our emergency food program. So that can be packing boxes, helping deliver food to people who can't get into our shelter, as well as we also have, for the next month, we are partnering with the Renaissance Fair in the area. And so we're looking for volunteers to help with that. In addition, then the Renaissance Fair helps us with a lot of food donations and things like that. So if you know of anyone, or if you yourself are looking for some volunteer opportunities, we are looking for volunteers pretty much every weekend for the next month.
So I know you mentioned that you are based in Oakland County, but you have locations throughout the Oakland County area that people are able to go to if they physically go to if they're in need of support as well. Can you tell us about some of those locations and what help people can get at the physical locations?
Right. So our headquarters is in Pontiac, Michigan, and in our headquarter building, we also have a food pantry for people to come and get whatever necessities they need. We also have a food warehouse in Pontiac. Similarly, it's where we store a lot of our food and people can come and pick up their food that they're being distributed. Additionally, we have another food pantry location in Clarkston, as well as partnering with a couple different congregations around Oakland County to help distribute food as well.
We're joined by Grace Hochstetler from Lighthouse of Michigan, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. She is their engagement coordinator, and more information can be found on the organization at lighthousemi.org. You can also find them on sharedetroit.org, where they're one of over 300 charities and nonprofits supported on the Share Detroit platform. Again, sharedetroit.org. You can go there, click on their Find a Nonprofit section, and just search for Lighthouse. And you'll find Lighthouse Michigan's information, including their website, contact information, ways you can get involved with volunteer opportunities, even donation items, physical items that may be of need to the organization and the people that they serve. That's all on sharedetroit.org. And you can also learn more information directly from the organization at lighthousemi.org. In terms of resources, Grace, what at this time are some of the most important resources that the community can help Lighthouse provide to those that it serves?
Yeah, so kind of as funny as it sounds, but we are already ramping up for the holidays. So that means a lot of different food drives, Thanksgiving items, even Christmas and holiday items as well. So we're always in need of food. And then we are also always in need of the personal care items. So that's everything from toothbrushes and toothpaste to deodorant and shampoo. That we also give out through our programs. So those are kind of safe items that we are always looking for and we can always, use in our programs, as well as monetary assistance or donated gift cards.
More information can be found on lighthousemi.org, lighthousemi.org, as well as on Share Detroit's website at sharedetroit.org. And you can find Lighthouse of Michigan on social media, including Facebook at Lighthouse Michigan, Instagram at LighthouseMI, and Twitter at Lighthouse_MI to keep up to date on everything that they're doing and the ways that you can get involved in your local community. You can also keep up to date with them on their website at lighthousemi.org. We're joined by Grace Hochstetler. She is the engagement coordinator at Lighthouse of Michigan, joining us on the Michigan Megacast. Grace, a few more minutes with you today before we'll say goodbye. Anything else that we haven't touched on today that would be important for our audience to keep in consideration, upcoming events or upcoming drives or other ways they can get involved in the near future?
I think we've covered a lot of it. I think the last thing that I really want to kind of hit home on is the need in Oakland County. Prior to the pandemic, we were serving around 10,000 individuals a week with emergency food. And then at the height of the pandemic, or 10,000 individuals a year with emergency food. And then at the height of the pandemic, we were serving 5,000 individuals a week. Similarly, we've seen that kind of increase in our shelter program. We used to have about 30 individuals at a time, and now it's up to about 120. So that need that we have is just continually growing. We're excited to announce that we are opening up our new family emergency shelter, which will house about 60 more individuals. So we're really excited about that, but in that, it also requires a lot of work that we are hoping to partner with a lot of people in the community for volunteers and donations and kind of everything. So we really appreciate opportunities like this.
I appreciate having you on as well. Thanks, Grace. LighthouseMI.org is the website for more information. You can also find them on sharedetroit.org, as well as over 300 other charities and nonprofits supported on the platform all throughout Metro Detroit and across the great state of Michigan. We'll take a break. On the other side, we'll come back, review some of our resources, and wrap up today's edition of the Michigan Megacast.
Let's relish these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the festivals going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date. Can I ask you a question? Why do you want to get the COVID-19 vaccine?
I don't like getting sick. The virus will die. It will be easy to not catch it. Keep my family safe and keep playing soccer because I love being vaccinated.
What's your hope for everyone?
I hope everybody gets the vaccine to keep safe and strong. Be like happy, having fun everywhere. Everyone stay safe and hope you get the vaccine. I'm feeling good.
Let's savor these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the dining out going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date.
Connect with local leaders, philanthropists, and more. The Greater West Bloomfield Chamber of Commerce presents the 2022 Leadership Breakfast. Join the Chamber for a morning of insight with guest speaker Laura Graneman, with the whole event emceed by Fox 2 News anchor Roop Raj. Join your local businesses at the Wabeat Country Club September 13th at 8:30 a.m. Order your tickets by September 6th at westbloomfieldchamber.com/breakfast. We'll see you there.
Let's whoop it up for these moments, made possible by the COVID-19 vaccine. Keep the cheering going by keeping yourself protected and your COVID-19 vaccines up to date.
Welcome back to the Michigan Megacast, our live daily one-hour show about all things Michigan. I'm Tyler Kieft. Of course, you can keep up to date on all of our programming here at Civic Center TV on civiccentertv.com, our flagship station. But you can keep up to date on all of our Megacast programming, and including looking into more information on our partnering stations across the Oakland County area and across the state for the Oakland County Megacast and across the Great Lakes State for the Michigan Megacast by visiting civiccentertv.com/Megacast, where you'll also find all of our full shows and individual interviews on demand. civiccentertv.com/Megacast. That is going to do it for today's edition of the Oakland County and the Michigan Megacasts. As always, you can tune into our program each and every day. 1 hour from 10 a.m. until 11 o'clock is the Oakland County Megacast, and the Michigan Megacast 1 hour from 11 a.m. until 12 noon each and every day on a variety of TV, radio, and streaming outlets all across the Great Lakes State. Again, civiccentertv.com/Megacast for all of that information. While you're on civiccentertv.com, head over to our local news page For accurate and up-to-date information on COVID-19 from expert resources federally at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in Atlanta, Georgia, statewide from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, and from the Oakland County Health Division as well. civiccentertv.com/local-news, or click on our local news page at the top of our homepage. And you'll also find later down on that page articles from journalistic outlets across the state of Michigan to keep you updated on COVID-19 stories and other headlines making news each and every day in all regions of the state of Michigan. While you're over there clicking on those links, reading those articles and their supporting materials from many of these news outlets, if you have the means to do so, we highly encourage you to subscribe to these publications and support journalism in your local area here in Michigan. Big thank you to everyone that joined us on today's edition of the Oakland County Megacast. Representative Brenda Carter from Michigan's 29th State House District, Lindsay Zeig from Oakland University as well, Michael Hensley from the Great Lakes Regional Tourism Board as well for joining us. Appreciate him, and Dexter Sullivan joining us on the program. And finally, Grace Hochstetler from Lighthouse of Michigan. You can view all these interviews again on our website later this afternoon, civiccentertv.com/megacast. Big thank you as well to our crew, Jared Clark and Calvin Brown at Master Control at the office of My Michigan TV, our co-flagship for the Michigan Megacast, hitting all the buttons, keeping us on the air and making us look good each and every day. And of course, the king of television, Larry Nyland, our producer, booking our program and helping both the guests and myself get ready for informative conversations on a variety of topics 5 days a week. That's it for today's edition of the Oakland County and the Michigan Megacasts. We'll return soon with a new episode.